Welcome to factoring. So in this lesson we are going to talk about the greatest common factor and factoring a linear expression. So greatest common factor, let's get into it. Common factor. You're going to do a couple of things, and the first of those things is you're going to list all factors of each term. Okay? And then you're going to circle or highlight the common ones. And then finally identify the largest. Okay? Now, side note, you're going to do all of these things for factoring with linear expressions as well. The only difference is that when you factor a linear expression, you are going to then remove that factor and keep the remaining inside parentheses. Okay? We'll talk about that in the next couple slides. First example here, we have 30n and we have 6. So to find our greatest common factor, I'm going to list my factors. So I have 1 times 30. I'm going to simply use the ones for 30, and then I will tack n on at the end because there's not an n in the other one. So I have 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 4 doesn't work, 5 times 6, and then I would cycle back around so I don't need to do that again. And then for 6, I have 1 times 6 and 2 times 3, and then I would cycle back around so I don't need to do that again. So I'm going to circle all of the common ones. I have 6, I have 3, and 2. Okay? Now the largest is going to be 6, and 6 is my GCF, or my greatest common factor. Now it is your turn to try. Please go ahead and try 24y and 60. What is the GCF? You try. All right, now we are going to work on factoring an expression. So first I'm going to do my factors of each number. I have 30 times 1, I have 2 times 15 again, 3 times 10, I already did these before, 4 doesn't work, but 5 and 6 do, and then I would cycle back around. 70, I have 1 times 70, 2 times 35, 3 does not work, 4 does not work, 5 does work, 5 times, what times 70 equals 5? Times 14, 6 doesn't work, 7 obviously works, 7 times 10, 8 doesn't work, 9 doesn't work, so that is our list. So I'm going to identify all of my common ones. I see 5 on there, I see 10 on there, I don't see a 15 on there. I obviously have 1 and 2 as well. From here, now that I have my factors, I am going to identify my largest common factor. So the one that appears circled most times is 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out of the problem here. So I'm going to do 10, and then inside the parentheses, and the reason I write my lists like this is so that way I can see what I'm multiplying by. So when I pull a 10 out of 30x, or divide by 10 and 30x, I have remaining 3 and x. I have a plus in the middle, and then of course when I divide 70 by 10, I have that 7 there. And that is the factored form, which is still the distributive property, just the opposite distributive property. Factored form of 30x plus 70. Your turn to try 32p plus 20. For this problem, we are going to, again, do our factoring, but notice the negatives here. So, in this case, when I factor, I am going to take out the negative. So my answer should include a number and a negative. And because they both are negative, my final answer will be positive inside, because if I take a negative out of each, that becomes 2 positives. Okay? But now I'm going to do my factoring of my actual term here. So I have 42. So I have 1 times 42, 2 times 21, 3 times 14, 4 does not work, 5 does not work, 6 times 7, and then we would cycle back around. And of course I need to get my factors of 54. 1 times 54, 2 times 54 would be 27, sorry, 3 54 divided by 3 would give me 18. 54 divided by 4 does not work. 54 divided by 5 does not work. 54 divided by 6 does work. It's 6 times 9. And then 7 and 8 do not work as well. So I would cycle back to 9 here, and I am good. So I'm going to circle all my common ones. I see 6 on that list. I see 3, 2, 1, of course. And then beyond that, 6 looks to be my highest. So I'm going to pull a 6 out of there. Now what's left when I take out the 6 is a 7, K. Don't forget your K here. And then 6 times 9. And that would be my final factored form. And I want you to try the last two. And they are both involving negatives. I want you to try it with the negative pulled out. In both cases, notice where X is and where A is in each one. Do your best, get these signed off, and have fun.